the Tuesday Night Music Show, once again brought to you by your good friends at DJEventPlayer.com, www.DJEventPlayer.com. See more about them in the description of this video on YouTube, as well as some other sponsors. Tonight, we have with us Mr. Howie Darkstar, Boston John,
Hello,
Georgia Matt,
Hey.
and Temecula J.
Yeah, what's with the location names tonight?
I don't know.
You calling him Jersey Howie? I didn't hear. Did you call him Jersey Howie? Something.
You know, usually what we do at the top of the show is we give our picks for Boston John's record roundup. But I was thinking maybe we should switch it up a little bit, just see what happens, and dive into a topic right away and save the record roundup.
Oh, I'm sorry. I actually have
Put it away.
Sorry.
Put it away. Save the record roundup for like halfway through the show, and then we can just finish the show with our records.
By the way, Brian, are we brought to the fine fans of our show by anybody?
Yeah.
You just did it.
I think you were sleeping on that one because
I was playing solitaire.
Spat it out immediately.
Googling turtles, macabre bites.
You're Googling
The soothing sounds of BSR.
Yeah, he was Googling. Yeah.
Tortoises, parrots, alligators.
Oh,
days
gotcha.
all over the place tonight.
Let me know when we start the show.
All right.
It's a good Ron Burgundy line.
How about you people get into my Zoom room?
You know, I brought something up last night, and I thought I'd talk about it a little bit today and kind of get everybody's opinion on it, because I think our opinion on this has switched a little bit. I think we thought it through and thought, collectively, I think the opinion has switched a little bit. So at the club I'm working at, to make a long story short, there was a problem with the system. I was getting a lot of static towards the end of the night. Now, I've been having a problem with the audio selector switch on the multi-zoned, lots of like cat whatever cable, looking like phone cable behind there. Science fiction, Ben Stowe probably put it in. It might as well be Star Wars to me. Thing. The selector switch, sometimes you go from like the in-house music stuff that's on during dinner, switch over to me, switch over to auxiliary. Sometimes that switch just dies in the middle of the set and I got to run over, hit the selector switch because it's dirty. Known problem. And then the pigtails coming out the back of the system for me to plug into totally failed on Saturday. And I'm crossing my fingers that between engineering and a sound tech, they're going to get that handled this week. I did go in there and I was aggressively proactive with letting them know what the problem was and that it did indeed need to be addressed. And yes, I do have a backup plan, but John and I were talking about this and John was saying, hey, you know, you ought to just take the bull by the horns and go in there and figure it out and show what a rock star you are. And I said, I don't want to do that.
Nah.
Because it doesn't belong to me.
Too much
and if I screw it up, it's my fault.
Yep.
Right.
If you can't do your job because something is damaged and it's in your ability to fix it, I simply said, you should have.
I wholeheartedly agree with John.
I do too.
But
I do too.
In the real world, that's what we would do. In a club world, there's 6 people involved in everything.
Yes.
And what you don't want to do is turn a screw and 3 days later the system goes out and they go, what happened? Well, the new DJ was back there with a screwdriver and now it's your fault.
Right.
And it is under warranty, correct?
Yes.
Oh, even better. Get the guy out there.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
Hands off.
Supposedly it is.
Supposedly.
Yeah, sadly.
Hands off. Yeah.
Now, to John's point, if it was as simple as plugging into a different expose auxiliary, of course. Of course.
Sure. Of course.
There are okay, let me just start over.
You think it might be the RCAs?
You know what I'm thinking? You know what I'm thinking, Jay? On a system like this,
How'd you look at the time?
there are 2 parts to it. There's the stuff in front that people can do stuff with. They can turn a knob, they can adjust the volume. And on the front of this one, there are RCA female that you can plug an auxiliary into. Then there's the stuff behind it.
The rat's
Stuff,
nest.
the stuff
nightmare.
behind it, to me, is like the do not enter zone.
The thing
Yeah,
behind
I
the
agree.
wall.
Don't go there.
No.
Yep.
If it doesn't belong to you, don't go there.
Right.
The stuff up front, if you can do what you have to do with the tools that you have in the front of a club system, like a major club system rack. I'm not talking about, Steve's bar with a set of K12s in the ceiling. That's probably pretty simple.
Yeah.
But we're talking about a multi-zone place with a rack that's about 7 feet tall.
Yeah, too much to deal with. In the
And
back.
yeah, but the front, yeah, absolutely. To John's point, if there's something you can do that's visible and easy to access, fine. But if it's behind the system, I don't want to touch it.
No, I agree.
It's weird though, because it's been a while. I'm not used to not having complete control over an audio system or a lighting system. I mean, we all build our own systems. And we know what each component is on the system. And we know what our audio chain is. And we know what type of cabling is hooking it all together. And we know the quality of the cabling. And with a short audio chain like I have on my system, it's a USB from the computer to a mixer controller, built-in sound card,
Mm-hmm.
2 XLRs going up to a set of speakers. That's the audio chain.
Yep.
There's nothing else in that direct chain to the music.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty easy to diagnose if there's a problem. Well, it's a cable, or it's a speaker, or it's the mixer, or something. But when you've got all of these different elements, all this crazy rack gear, and I don't know, whatever the stuff is, I don't know what half the stuff is. It looks like the deck of the Starship Enterprise to me. I don't know. I got nothing. It's challenging. And like John said, you want to just dive in and fix it,
Well, if there was someone there that you would ask the question, can I cut the end off this cable and just put a new end? Is our problem fixed? No. Now it's a bigger problem. Now it's
Right.
what I could do with what I can access. Like
Right.
you said, you're not, once you move that rack of amps out, who knows what you're going to unplug? You don't know what it was plugged into in the first place.
Well, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Asking for trouble. So
I mean,
we all collectively agreed on that, I think.
Oh, yeah. I haven't worked in a club in a long time, probably like 5 years. And I used to manage a club, and we had a big sound system. And if memory serves from my club days, everyone wants to blame somebody for something. There's always got to be an answer to give the owner or the GM or the manager
Right.
what happened. And I've never heard the statement, what happened, without it being followed by blank did this, blank touched that, blank spilled a drink, blank messed around with the cables. It's always clubs are just notorious for that. It's like, that's why when people come in and install really intricate sound systems, it's job security.
It
They
is.
realize you can't do anything to it without their permission, without their settings. They've got diagrams that aren't, in a perfect world, your club system would have a posted diagram on the side that laid out every cable that went to everything. And literally you could figure it out, but the guy that installs it never gets a phone call.
Or service call.
Right.
Please.
He wants
That's what it says.
$75
It's an
an hour
emergency.
phone call. Yeah.
Yeah.
He wants to get a phone call and, make some money.
Howie, did you have something?
Tragedy of it all.
I was just going to say, if your little cable that you bought from Amazon works, the danger is that typically corporations like that will say it's fixed, and they're not going to go any further.
Yeah.
That's kind of the other facet of this whole thing. Yes, can I put a Band-Aid on a tumor?
Right.
If I show up on Friday, I can put a Band-Aid on a tumor. I kind of have a sneaking suspicion someone has already put a Band-Aid on a tumor, which is why I was dealing with the problem I was dealing with. And if I can do that, will they just say, oh, well, it's working. What's the point of bringing anybody in? Yeah, that could happen.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Never spend money you don't have to in a club.
Jay, you were talking about these crazy multi-zone systems to kind of, give the installer job security.
Yeah.
You were telling a story the other night. Can you give us the Reader's Digest of that?
I was a director of entertainment for a yacht company, and we bought a new yacht, used, but I mean new to us, held 1,000 people, and I had to go pick it up with the port captain and the head of food and beverage and the head of ops, because we all had vested interest in the yacht. Mine was sound.
Right.
And I got there and I walked on and I saw like 151 Bose, 402 Bose, 805 Bose on the outer deck. I mean, a dream sound system. But I know that Bose always has processors with amps. You can't plug a Bose in without a processor for Bose. Mm-hmm. And I went and looked at it, and it was gorgeous, but it was like hundreds or thousands of hours of crimping and splicing, and everything was great. And the boat had 6 deck zones with a 5 deck selector, meaning I could send sound from any place on the boat to any place on the boat.
Right.
And then on top of it, because it's Coast Guard, it had an override that if the captain pushed the talk button on his mic, it killed all the audio on the boat and did an override of the selector. And my boss took one look at it, and I said, yeah, one of the Bose speakers needs to be replaced. Well, how much is that going to cost us? Like $400. And he goes, I'll take care of it. And the next day he came in with these 2 white Radio Shack Optimus speakers that were like $80 for the pair. And I said, right, these aren't great. And technically I can't use them because there's a processor. Well, let's just override the processor. I'm like, then we lose this. We ended up spending probably like $6,000 to undo the work.
You forgot to mention they were 70-volt speakers.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. They were 70 volts. And those of you that, if you've ever been in a restaurant or any environment where there's speakers in the ceiling, the reason you use 70-volt systems is because they have 2, 3, or 4 different screw taps. So I can make this speaker by the door quiet, this one in the corner louder by wherever I put the wire. Well, every speaker on the boat was wired that way. And we ended up spending probably, I don't know, like $6,000 or $7,000 to override the matrix. And it was just never that good sounding again. I mean, when we first took it, I hooked up a CD player to it on the aux input, and it was like a dream. The whole boat just echoed with sound. But, like you'd said earlier, Brian, it was job security for this guy that put it together. And we went through the invoicing, and I want to say it was like $30,000 that the guy had charged them to do the install, not buy the products.
Right.
He paid for the products, and then his labor was like $30,000 for the matrix he installed.
Wow.
And it was intricate. I mean, if you're playing guitar in the front of your house and you can send that guitar to the bathroom upstairs, and I'm in the bathroom playing harmonica and I can send it to where you are, that's sort of cool that you can do that, because it really opens up the variety of entertainment. Or if someone's giving a speech, they can now go everywhere or only a few places. It makes it more of a money machine because it's multifaceted.
Yeah.
Right. But it was a dream and a nightmare all in the same day, because I knew my boss was cheap, and he ran right to Radio Shack. Like, these are weatherproof speakers for whale watching. I'm like, and they sound terrible. And we installed them, and everyone complained. But just like you at the club, everyone started calling the office going, what's Jay doing? These speakers sound terrible. And I couldn't throw my boss under the bus and say, he made me do it. I had to keep saying, oh, that was an investment from management.
Something that I am really pleased about is the first time that the switch failed on me. Of course, I'm looking at my system. Did I accidentally knock the crossfader over to the wrong position? Do I have, any kind of pre-fade listen on my master? What's going on? And So I'm troubleshooting the board in front of me. And I'm checking my headphones. Okay, master output headphones. Okay, there is an output signal. Okay. So I leave the booth and I'm running as good as I can run towards the amp rack. And the bartender is coming that direction as well. The bartender that was on that night, who's a night manager. And I said, "It's not me." And he said, "Oh, I know. It's not you." And he knew what it was and showed me that the thing was sticky. And then fast forward, a month or so later, with this other issue that I had with the static, again, I'm like, a different bartender. I'm like, "It's not me." He's like, "Oh, well, yeah, I know it's not you." So they know the system has problems. That's the good news. They're not trying to blame me for it. And something else that I am doing right now, just in case, I am bench testing my rack that I bring into the club.
That's smart.
Smart.
Just to see.
Well, now you know that's out of the loop.
Right.
Now you 100% know. Guess what? Yeah. I know for a fact everything on my end is perfect, which you already knew, but it's
I assumed it was fine.
Right. Now you can say it was
brand new.
But here's the catch. Think back to your old club days.
And it's Pioneer stuff.
Well, of course.
I figured it was okay.
Yeah, of course. But think back to the old club days 25 years ago. We both know where this is going to go. It's going to go up the ladder. You're going to come in as the DJ and say, "Hey, you guys are paying me, good money to do this, and I'm here to help, and we're going to make money, and the bar is going to make money." And I've worked for club owners as their GM and manager. Dude, if I said I need a new pen to fill out the schedule, to man the bar, to make money, they'd be like, "If you take this book of matches and light them and then blow them out, you can actually write with the tip of the match."
Geez.
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
that beer is dusty over there. Use your finger.
Not every club owner is like this, but
right.
If you're already making money, are you really, like, in your world, Brian, your suggestion in your head is, man, there's so many great things they could do with this system. They've got RCF loaded sonics. We could really rock this house out. And what's going to end up being heard by the owners is, wow, this Brian's into spending money. Or, you know what it sounds like? So what's the problem, Brian? Like, if I'm the owner, let's role play. You be Brian the DJ. I'll be the owner of Funhouse. Tell me what the problem is, Brian.
Hey, there's a problem plugging into the system, and if this isn't fixed, no one's going to be able to play anymore.
Can I still play background music through it?
You can play background music through it, but you can't play main through it.
So I can have background music playing while people eat?
Yes.
Okay, but I can't have a DJ perform.
Correct.
That I'm paying money to.
Correct.
Okay. I don't see the problem. or more to the point. Yeah, the selector thing and the system. Okay, so what I heard you say, Brian, was I need a new selector. Well, yeah, because that's fine. That's $10 at Radio Shack. So I just need to call Jimmy and have him put a new selector. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it. Like, I'm not being rude.
No, you're not.
That's how the conversation is going to go. Can I still play music? Yeah. Okay.
The bartender, the night manager, saw the problem, knew there was a problem, physically saw that there was a broken lead, showed, "Oh my God, that's terrible. I can't believe that's, okay." So then I started sending texts to the GM who was out of town over the weekend. Didn't get a reply until late. And the reply was simply, "I'll investigate!" Exclamation point. Like, you know what? I'm just going to come down there and say, "Look, let me just show you,
You think he wants you to?
Pardon?
You think he wants you to?
I don't know, but I didn't see him. He wasn't available. And I talked to a maintenance guy who had a clipboard and was making notes on everything I said.
Oh, okay.
I showed him. I mean, that's how I felt like was the best way to handle it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If I show up on Friday and I can't play, and I hadn't come up with this super duper backup plan in my head that will work if there's a problem,
right?
Mm-hmm. You're still paying me.
And see, yeah,
regardless if I play or not.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So
I have a quick question. That place is 47 years old, correct?
Incorrect. It is 57 years old.
So it's obviously not creative.
So
Is that your
all right.
question?
No. What I'm getting at is that selector switch was probably installed when there was smoking allowed in bars.
No, it was not, because that system has, it says when it was installed, it's I forget what the exact date is, but it's in 2013. So it's a 10-year-old system.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
'Cause
The
smoking
only,
it'll destroy those little contacts.
no, they outlawed, well, they said no more smoking in bars and clubs here in 2010. So
Okay.
that's not an issue with this particular system. I don't know what it is. I mean, I know it gets used quite a bit.
The
But-
club environment is the issue, Brian. The manager ran over and said, I know it's not you, meaning he already knew there was a problem. His
Right.
hope, just like the
Right.
club owner, guess what?
Yeah.
This is like the novice who can't do any wrenching, who has an issue with their car, and it fucks up on Monday. It messes up on Monday,
Yeah.
but on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's fine. What's
Okay.
the incentive to go to the mechanic Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
That's
take it
all
one
that's
step
I,
further.
I made it clear.
I mean, I'm not trying to be a jerk about this.
You're not being a jerk.
I've
You're
worked
it's
in these
reality. That's how it
clubs.
is.
And the
Yeah.
reality is, did it work tonight? Yeah. Okay, then it works.
That's why
We'll
I did
address
my
it when it doesn't work.
That's why I went in last night and did my due diligence. I
Yeah,
feel
you
like
did.
at this point I've done everything I could possibly reasonably do in my position to point out the issue.
Well, that's it. And you're going to get two responses. If it goes up and they say this system's under warranty, they'll say the selector switch and the cables are wear and tear items. They're not covered. You've worked automotive. I have too. Then it's like, okay, how much is it for you to come in and do it? And then let me see what a third party would cost to come in and replace these
Right.
pieces. If it's not covered, I'm just saying it's
Hold on, I just got a call from the GM of my club. Yeah, what's up? The new DJ Brian snooping around the system. Yeah, I'm the cans back.
Fire
All right,
him.
thank you.
yeah, sitting there with a flashlight.
too
looking
bad,
at
Brian.
it.
I gotta
bill
let
for
you
the
go.
system.
I feel terrible, but it's
Yeah.
costing me money.
Rather than giving it to a third party guy and say, then you could do it. Then they say, please take care of this for us. And,
But John,
yeah.
here's the problem. If Brian starts that road, he's got to stick to it. So Brian's going to get a call on Monday night at 10 o'clock when he's in bed or hanging out online doing nothing.
here.
They're going to go, hey, Brian, you got to get down to the club. There's a problem with the sound system.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be right there. Now Brian runs down the street, hops in the
Yeah.
club. Yeah, there's like a static thing. And if Brian can't fix it right away, then they make the determination. Why did we ever give Brian the responsibility of doing this in the first place? He can't seem to fit. Like, I hate to say it, but the less hands-on you are, the better off you are.
Yeah.
You know what? I learned that in the car business the hard way.
Yeah.
I was like co-managing this small
Yeah.
corner lot sales. That's what I was doing, but it was a wholesaler. And then I got involved with the wholesaling and helping out with that. And then the mechanics would have questions and they would get frustrated and they would come in and throw their hands up and they weren't happy. And I'd say, hey, hold on a second. Okay, let's look at this together and see if we can figure it out together. Let's look at motor all dial together. Okay, you know what? On the 97 Firebird, it's actually right here and not here. It's kind of weird, right? Oh, wow, it is. Yeah, let's see if we can get this off together. I became the guy in the shop, the guy in the office, the guy in the detailing bay, the guy on the lot, the guy running cars back and forth to auction, the guy going to auction. It's not like I was getting compensated for this stuff, but as soon as you stick your neck out, you're the man.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
If
Yeah.
you can't figure it out, you're the bad guy.
The only time it works, and it worked for me, was I was the bartender who then became, out of nowhere, a DJ because I hung out in the DJ booth and one of the guys didn't show up and left his music and I could press play and talk on the mic. And then they made me a manager. And I was the most respected and feared manager in the club because if I came on shift and the DJ said, hey, man, I've had it. I'm not going to work tonight. I would take his shift and manage and DJ.
Yeah.
The other managers used to get treated like crap because the DJs
Right.
and bartenders would be like, I might go home. Well, guess what? The other managers couldn't DJ or bartend. So all the staff liked me because A, they knew I could do their job probably better.
They respected you because you could do
They
the job.
couldn't
Yeah.
threaten me with, I'll go home. Are you kidding? I'll take your $300.
Yeah.
So sometimes knowing everything makes you invaluable, or it hurts you because you're not going to get compensated. You know, I mean, but most people are lazy about things. Most people, I can't say the company name, but I got a text today from somebody who asked me if I knew where a product was in transit. And I'm like, I'm not sure. You should probably call your warehouse because I'm a contractor DJ at home in Temecula. Well, when is it going to arrive? Again, I don't have a FedEx hat on or I'm your warehouse guy. I'm just like, I was shocked. I'm like, why would a manager for a company call me to see where something was in transit? Why wouldn't you call your warehouse and say, hi, Jim, have you seen this pallet? Yeah, it just got here. Great. Why call Jay in Temecula? I'm not a warehouse. I mean, where am I going to put pallets in this room?
You're asking me why I call him Jay in Temecula, Jay from Temecula. That's why.
Yeah.
I have to identify myself somehow on the map of corporate America now. Hi, is this the guy in charge of the warehouse? No, this is Jay in Temecula. Oh,
that guy.
Jay, you're probably drinking wine. Well,
Jay,
I'm drinking something.
You should have put your foil hat on. Like, yes, I have all the answers.
I wish I now need to get one of those.
I'll have to send you one.
I now need to get the Howie hat.
Well, there's good news in my situation. I was told that there has been budget approval from corporate to put in a brand new sound system. They just haven't pulled the trigger to do it yet.
Wow.
They'll do it. They're going to do it fourth quarter 2029. Probably.
Probably. Driving that car on Ford Donuts until they get around to it. You know? So
corporate said you can spend 20 grand on the sound system, but I'm trying to run the club and get a bonus. So if I can spend $500 in the sound system and divert the other 19,500 into this, that'll help with sales. My bonus will go perfect. Done.
Who knows?
Hey, Brian, here's 2 sticks and a can with a piece of rope. Figure out how to play Prince now, kid.
Yeah, this isn't Dave's Sports Bar. If it was, it would be a lot easier because Dave would just have to be the shot caller on this.
Right.
And Dave wouldn't care.
It's not a chain. But it's a landmark in the city, but it's owned by a major corporation. Right. That is a local corporation. They own a lot of movie theaters around here. They manage resorts and hotels all over the country.
So they know how to make things last, and they know how to spend less money to get more out of their investment.
Well, how old is this sound system? How old is it?
Well, like I told you before, it was put in 2013. So it's 10 years old.
So the entire system went in 2000. Sonics.
The rack went in 2013. I don't know. I don't know what the speakers are. I think they're the same.
Yeah, but they're running it like 18 hours a day. It's 10 years. It's served its purpose.
Yeah, but Howie, you did sound. I did sound. I was telling someone yesterday, we were talking about mixers, and I said the Rane MP44Z that I worked with, as far as I could tell, that mixer was purchased, installed, turned on 7 days a week from 10 a.m. till 2 a.m. And in the 5 years that I was involved with that mixer, it never moved. We had CD players that went out once a year to have the lasers cleaned because of the fog machine, but the mixer never moved. And I told you guys about the bar down the street from here, 15-year-old QSC K10s, the same ones they bought when they opened the joint are the same ones they're using tonight for karaoke. Sometimes with clubs, if you don't move gear, we all know electronics that are stable usually last a very, very long time.
As do cables when you're not constantly playing.
Exactly.
Well, the variables, the DJs, they come and go. Is that you don't know who's driving it. You know
who's actually grabbing by the plug,
by the wires and yanking them out.
Right.
Yeah,
that's a good point. That's a really good point.
Like, this ain't my stuff. I don't care, right? And they pull it out that way, and now it's broken, and you come in, you're like, geez.
Right.
I agree with John and Howie. I think it's the RCAs, Brian.
Oh, wait.
moving it right along.
Like I said earlier, anymore.
In the broadcast, we were going to save Boston John's record roundup for last.
All right.
Oh, are we there? Are we coming around to that?
Let's do it. Let's do
do
Boston
it.
John's record roundup.
Where's our sound effect?
Oh, no, it's no sound effect.
Okay, that was it.
John,
Right.
what do you got for us this week?
All right, I'm going to go with a genre. I pulled this aside because we've never talked about these guys, and we've never talked about this person. And I think, yeah, you're in the right path. The style of music was called New Jack. It was a New Jack swing, and it was really popular. And that gentleman was Mr. Teddy Riley, right?
Oh,
Yep.
And he's here on this one with the Hall brothers, Aaron and Damien. And this track was I Want to Get With You, and the group was called Guy.
Yes.
Okay. So this stuff came along and kind of gave hip hop a kick in the butt that it needed. You know, Run DMC had come and gone, and Houdini had come and gone, and Curtis Blow and all that. This came along and took some of the energy from the high step stuff that was coming. This is 1990. This one. This is a great group, by the way. And he's created with the invention of New Jack, that sound. What is that sound? You listen to like Heavy D and the Boys.
Teddy Riley.
It's Teddy Riley. Remember the Time by Michael Jackson. He wrote that. He was involved with
Color Me Bad.
Color Me Bad.
Oh, Mia Moore. You dropped that. Let me tell you. Watch
you know, that whole scene, the Motown Philly, and all of those groups
DeVoe
had a hand in. Just really is starting to make a comeback, and I'm playing a lot more of it. I did jot down a couple others, like Bobby Brown, Blackstreet. Like
I think MC Hammer would be like that.
He's way up though. He's like 120s. He's faster. New Jack kind of stands in this pocket of like 102 to 110, and it's just kind of a groove you can kind of vibe to and kind of bounce to. So check out some of those
back
groups.
the way freestyle's coming back a little bit.
Yeah. And they play nice together. They're good friends.
Yeah, they do.
You can come in and out of those.
Absolutely.
And all of a sudden now you're into an urban set, and no one loses a step.
No.
So props to Teddy Riley, and they actually do have him listed on Wiki as being one of the first two pioneers as to where New Jack swing came from. Nice. Like all the background music you'd see on like on Living Color, on the comedy show with the Wayans brothers.
Anytime somebody's grabbing their ankle, dancing around.
Doing that stuff.
Yeah, kind of the
New Jack swing. Check it out. Give it a shot and try to work it in with your freestyle sets.
John, what would you say?
Very cool.
What would you say?
Ankle grab, I go Vanilla Ice.
He fits.
I'm just saying, when somebody grabs the ankle on the dance floor.
And he's kind of New Jack. He's kind of New Jack.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think it goes past just one.
Well, that's why I said MC Hammer. I mean,
no, that's a great call.
Dino, like that's the way it has to be. That's the way I like it. It's got a lot of energy, a lot of bounce, even like
Dino
cool stuff.
Yeah, the Dino stuff, and
So
what would you say, John? Would you say about 89 through 92? Right,
that was the peak. Yeah. Like Bill DeVoe Poison. I'm sure everybody still plays that. Right. It's that flavor. It's that zone, and you will definitely get some energy on the dance floor.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Tempo. And Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis got into that too, because some of that turned up on Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
the song Rhythm Nation is very New Jack. Mm-hmm. Not the whole album, but that particular song is.
Yeah.
So
just a lot of 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. If you can do that kind of vibe to it, that's kind of like the New Jack energy.
Like funk and hip hop and dance music all merged together.
All the best
for a second, and it was really cool.
It was a really great period.
Everybody was happy until NWA didn't like it. And Nirvana didn't like it. It all got ruined. And everybody was getting along in harmony until
there's an Ice Cube's line to see another trying to outdance each other on TV. He was getting sick of the MC Hammers and everybody
he's doing Taco
that.
Bell commercials with it.
So definitely, give it a shot. So that's my pick of the week. And Guy specifically, but any of those ones we mentioned are all killer. So try them out.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Nice.
I want to go to Georgia Matt. What do you have for us this week?
Georgia Matt. So, and I'm having a little bit of a Mandela effect thing going right now, whether this came out in 2022 or as it says on Apple Music 2017, and that is Diamonds by Elton John. But this was it's a great compilation, and a lot of remastered hits. But one that has been popular at a lot of my gigs lately has been the Cold Heart with him and Dua Lipa. I don't know if you guys have been spinning that a lot, or it's a good chill song, but also it's got enough beat to it. People can bob along to it or dance to it. And then also Hold Me Closer on there, the duet with Britney Spears.
Yeah,
it's just
good too. Well, that's all new stuff. That's all like
the whole thing's new. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Those I know those two are new, but then there's stuff like
reworks.
Oh, yeah, some remasters. So I guess that means they either what does that mean? Generally, they cleaned them up, or did he sing them as at present age?
It usually it's a cleaned up master. But sometimes they do redrum them and stuff, and that's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
But
or quantize them.
Yes, yeah, they do quantize as well. Sometimes it's done very well. Sometimes it's not done very well. It just depends.
A lot of really good duets on there too, for sure. But I could have sworn I didn't hear about Cold Heart or Hold Me Closer until last year. And
they're new.
Seeing some, they're new. Okay, so I wonder. I don't know. That's just going to mess with me.
Maybe it's
I'm seeing like the album came out in 2017, but those songs are new. But if it was
that doesn't belong there.
Yeah,
unless they.
Okay.
Yeah, that's odd, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cold Heart isn't actually an Elton John song. It came from, it Sacrifice, or the lyrics?
It's an Elton John song.
I think.
Two different songs, but Cold Heart never existed.
Yeah.
Well, Sacrifice.
Manufactured.
Lyric was there.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Hold Me Closer wasn't a song either.
Right. They were both kind of
Tony Danza
taken on. Yeah. I hope Tony Danza gets a nickel in his bank account every time.
Count the headlights on the highway in your taxi.
Yeah, but I mean, just great stuff, and Elton John's just one of those acts that has staying power. I think we're going to see that in the coming years with like the Miley Cyruses and the Taylor Swifts. It's a lot harder these days. It seems like the artist pool is so crowded. But it's hard for people to emerge like that and just stay that way. And is he still on his farewell tour?
I think he's done with his farewell tour.
Okay, he's finally done with it.
No, he's touring with Motley Crue now for their 7th farewell.
Opening for Kiss. Yeah, that's been retiring since '99.
Yeah. The going out of business tour.
Yeah.
All sales final.
Yeah. We have one of them.
Going out of business tour. Grand opening.
You're done.
The only
Across
time
the street from everything must
is
go.
when it fades from the sun.
Until it says Spirit Halloween on the front, I don't believe any of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right.
So, Howie, what do you have for us this week?
Oh, I have something from the very last wedding I did in 2022 before I went in, not doing weddings anymore, but community events, political, and of course, production. And